Jeff Fro from Two Hacks Garage. Well, I'm back at Jimmy's shop. It is a beautiful, beautiful Friday afternoon. Took off work a little bit early to work on jumping jack flash. We have got a whole lot done with this, and we have a whole lot more left to go, but it's all those little things. I did get a whole bunch of parts in so Jimmy can start rebuilding or finish rebuilding the Hilborn fuel injection setup. I got an EVAP canister that I'm going to install. Mind you guys, we built the whole system into the actual chassis to feed back to that. So once we get it installed, I'll show you actually how that works. We got a whole bunch of stuff like wiring to do on this. We got to bleed the brakes. We got to finish up the fire extinguisher system. But like I said, there's always a whole bunch of little things on that. But it is getting pretty exciting because the car is starting to come together. I really dig it. I like what's going on. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do is we're going to continue on the small things on jumping jack flash, the J&J Speed Machine nostalgia front engine dragster. I'm going to unload some parts. I'm going to get Jimmy the parts he needs for the Hilborn stuff. And you know what, guys? It's just going to be one of those days where we just start crossing things off the list, getting closer to our goal. Because pretty soon, this thing's going to fire up, and it's going to make the music of our people, which is horsepower. With that, guys, we'll see you in a little bit later. All right, so this is what is the distribution block on the Hilborn injection. Jimmy refers to it as the magic box.
No, it is. That is the magic box.
Yeah, it is the magic box, yes. So this comes off your throttle shaft, and this is your main feed line. So this is like there's a barrel valve in there that controls the fuel. These go to the nozzles. So these are the old hoses here. They're all jacked up and crusty and cracked. So what I did is I went ahead and got some fuel hose. I did source everything through Alky Digger. This is the correct fuel hose for that. Here's the ferrules that go on the hose ends. And here's the clamp for that. It's kind of neat how that works.
That's a crimping.
It's a crimping clamp for the ferrules. If you see, it's got that little groove in it, and what happens is that groove makes something similar to that. Yeah. So we're actually going to reuse.
Except for I made that.
Yeah, we're going to reuse these, and we'll reuse the fittings that go into the magic box. So that's what Jimmy's going to work on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the EVAP system while Jimmy's doing that. And basically there's a plate that's going to go on the back of the dragster that we already made, and it's going to connect back there, and then I'll show you how that all hooks up. So that's what we're going to do. So I will chat in a few. All right, so if you remember when we built this chassis, we had drilled holes in it and put in 2 pieces of pipe over there and in there. That is a hole to the chassis, and we did the same thing in the back. And then we showed you, we had tested it where it's actually got vacuum because this is a sealed chassis. So this is how you vent your gases, like a PCV valve or a breather, but you don't want to get stuff all over your face back there, so you want to vent it safely. Check these out. These are old Whiz polished aluminum dragster breathers, if you want to call it. Very rare. Jimmy just happened to have them laying around. So I went ahead and installed those. And what happens is your gases, your oils, whatever you want to call it, blow by, is going to get captured in there, and it's going to go down in there and into the chassis. Mind you, it's going to end up getting sucked in the back. I'll show you that in the back here in a second. But just in case, you can actually drain the chassis, because Jimmy and I in the front up there, we have 2 pipe plugs you can actually drain stuff with. This is something he's done quite a few times with chassis builds, and it works. So each valve cover actually has the pipe that connects it with some vinyl PVC reinforced tubing that goes to the Whiz valve cover breathers. And then it travels along the chassis in the back, and it comes out in the back. So we put the same piping in the bottom of the chassis back here, and it runs up into here and into this catch can made by Moroso. It is quick release if we want to take it off and all that fun jazz, but it's also got a drain on it. And plus we got the drain actually in the chassis. So yeah, that's how you get rid of the gases, blow-by, oils, whatever you want to call it, all the funk you don't want to end up in your face, all that type of fun stuff you don't want. So yeah, actually it worked pretty well. This was kind of a quick design, worked out pretty darn well. But yeah, pretty neat right there. Dig it, like it. Gives us all the room we need. Yeah. Pretty cool. Jimmy had those Whiz valve cover breather adapter thingies. Don't even know what to call them. Pretty neat, but they are quick release. So you can actually pull that pin. This pops off. Yeah. You know what, guys? I'm going to go check on Jimmy, see how the fuel lines are coming for the Hilborn. Catch up with you in a few. Later. All right, so here's where we're at. The gas, making sure jumping jack flash doesn't have gas. That whole system's been taken care of. Jimmy's got all the new fuel lines put into place on the Magic Box. It's quite a bit of work. This was a good way to spend a Friday afternoon, a couple hours worth of work. But yeah, those are all ready to go. So it's got nozzles in there now. And kind of the cool part is, so these aren't actually Hilborn nozzles. These are actually an Enderley nozzle. And if you look here, there's this little insert. That is to convert it to the Enderley style nozzle. There's a reason Jimmy did that. He explained it in a couple videos ago. But we got the wrong size nozzles in this. These are 42 thousandths. We needed 33 thousandths. Those are on the way. So what's going to happen next is once those come in, which they might be here tomorrow, Jimmy's going to swap those out. He'll get all the lines hooked up, and that'll be ready to go. So that's where we're at. And then from there, we'll get our linkages set up. So when this thing opens correctly. It's timed. A little bit of work to do on that. And then it's going to be the fun part, guys. We got all the throttle linkage and all that set up, but we got to plumb it. So if you see here, here's your main fuel in. Here's the one that goes out to the unit, to the Magic Box. One of these is considered a high-speed lean, but it's actually bypassed. And then you got your return line. So this is actually also a main jet. That's kind of neat how that works. I'm actually learning a lot about this Hilborn stuff. I've been reading a lot of books, talking to Jimmy a lot. It's been, it looks complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. But anyway, we got our old moon tank there. So you'll have a fuel line coming out that goes to here. And Jimmy's going to make that out of aluminum. It's going to go in, and you'll have your 2 return lines going back to it. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. But I think next we have our fire bottle, and we need to get all that taken care of. There's 2 ports that come out of this. One that goes and sprays in front of the engine, one that snakes through the chassis, and it sprays up on me. So if something was to happen, I pull this handle right there and extinguish the fire. Hopefully I don't have to use that. Sorry. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Good way to spend a Friday afternoon. Tomorrow will be a busy day. With that, guys, jumping jack flash. It's a gas, gas, gas.